My name's Brian Fox. I am a free software advocate and a fitness expert. For those of you who want some fitness advice, come see me afterwards. I'm also the co-founder of Orchid Labs and one of the 3 CTOs there. It's true. Most people know me from my work at the Free Software Foundation, where I wrote the Bash Shell and a bunch of other things. And I'm happy to say that that's changed now, and nobody here has asked me about that. So I'm kind of thrilled. I'm here to talk about Orchid. Orchid's fantastic. It's an open source movement, which I care a lot about. We're creating a new internet, one which is controlled by you and not by a government or an ISP. It's a network built by everyone who joins, just like a party. And it's incentivized by tokens. So people pay to use it. Somebody pays, and the people who provide the services get paid. It's also an open marketplace for the sale of resources and services within that network. So this is, in a sense, similar to the way the internet used to be, but without all the stuff we don't like. I'm gonna go through this super fast. Everything used to be centralized. Then we got a network that connected these big central blobs. Then everything got decentralized. And then we had more collaboration where there were local area networks, little blobs, and then they were connected by this other thing called the ARPANET or DARPANET to connect various things. And then finally we had the internet, which some of you might remember started with Gopher, extremely decentralized. The idea is take some data that's, some information that matters to you, store it on your server, let other people get it by using Gopher. And then Tim Berners-Lee said, gee, let's make a better protocol, and he made one called HTTP. And of course, this generated the onset of ISPs as well. So the killer app, I think, for that internet was email. Prior to that, email addressing was very hard to kind of manage. And as soon as we had good DNS, life got better. You didn't have to put exclamation marks and everything. I think the killer app for this new internet that I'm talking about is bandwidth. Think of this as an overlay network. It's a structure that sits on top of the existing physical internet, but it allows data movement in ways that are different than your standard ISP. And let's talk about these ISPs. All your traffic belong to us, but what's worse is what everybody's been saying here, all your data belongs to us too. And it's everything on that list and more, including your browsing history, and now of course they can just sell this data as if it was theirs. It's not, as was recently pointed out by Jesse. But at its core, I think the internet is just the next generation of a communication system. We started off with face-to-face communication, and as we move through the ages, I think communication expands in multiple directions. You can talk to one person over long distances, you can talk to many people simultaneously, and the internet really made that a true possibility. But a communications medium that doesn't work is not really a communications medium. And in today's world, you're censored by your ISPs or your governments, you're surveilled by those people, and you're denied the type of communication that you'd like to have. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh yes, we're anonymous. So this is routing in today's kind of internet. You know, you want to go to Facebook, so you click on something, go through your ISP and go to Facebook. In China, it doesn't work because the Great Firewall of China says, hey, that's Facebook, you can't go there. So then people in China said, well, we'll use a VPN. That'll fool them, and it did. It fooled them for about 5 seconds until they said, hey, wait a minute, that's a VPN, you can't go there. And so what we do is participating members of Orchid provide services, routing services, relay services, exit services, and you'll see that in this case, these are just individuals that are actually relaying traffic for that source node in order to let that individual get to Facebook. Now, the interesting thing about this is all the traffic is shaped and modified. It does not look like the normal traffic you would expect to see. And we've tested this and have been able to get past restrictive firewalls, not just China, but of course other places, Egypt, Libya, etc. The more people are part of the network, the more paths there are to get from where you are to where you want to go. There's a bunch of great technical properties which make this not suck. People look at that and they say, oh my God, it's going to be slow, but it turns out not to be. And the payments work like I mentioned before. The source node pays, and the individuals get those payments. Anonymity is baked in. The white paper is available on the website. It's very easy. I think it's a pretty easy read. Those tokens that are used are called Orchid tokens. They're a utility token for use within the Orchid network. And of course, they will not exist until we actually launch the network. We will not sell a token until there's a way to use it. There's a billion of them. And the velocity of the token, for those of you who care about that kind of stuff, is managed both by the supply and demand of the fact that this is a marketplace with new things to sell coming into the marketplace, and by the kind of network connection structure. In order to be part of the network, you have proof of stake, proof of work, and so forth. This project is 100% free software. It's RMS, as close to RMS approved as you can get. We control nothing. We're not interested in being in a control spot on this network at all. We're simply creating an ecosystem. Good founding team. Some of you may know Gustav, who was on the core Ethereum development team. Jay Freeman, the jailbroken iPhone guy, I've worked with for a number of years, a couple of VCs. It's pretty good stuff. That's Orchid, and I think it's great. It's a decentralized anonymous network. Participants pay and are paid using these tokens. It creates a resource marketplace upon which other dynamic apps can be built, so that not every single dynamic app in the world has to solve the exact same problem over and over again. Because of its open source nature and our promotion about that, I believe we're going to get a lot of help in the continuing technology that goes along with this. And as I mentioned before, the white paper is available at orchid.com, because everyone deserves the internet. So that's it.